What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you on Polestar. Today is the last trading day for 2023, but I want to talk on 2024. Price targets, production targets, everything that you can kind of expect for 2024 I'm going to talk on. Before I get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So going into this upcoming year, analysts currently do have a consensus of $4.67 for their price targets. So that's kind of a good thing. It does represent a 98.72% upside. A lot of the analysts though, their ratings are very old, and typically when an analyst does give a rating is for 1 year out. So a lot of these, such as Fox Advisors, Stephen Fox, who does have a 30% success rating, which is kind of crap, is going to kind of run out of ammunition a little bit. Same with Emmanuel, 42% success rating. Looks like Garrett with CFRA does have a 62% success rating, but once again, it is range bound, or could be range bound between the $2 and the $9 mark, which I will talk a little bit more on my price targets and whatever else, but I do agree that $2 is going to be the low, largely because of this. So this, I have comparisons for Polestar, Fisker, Lucid, Tesla, NIO, Rivian. You can throw any name on there. I've kind of looked at them all, but their PS ratio, so Polestar's PS ratio is 1.76%. That is absolutely insane. So logically, Polestar going into 2024 is going to be the most discounted EV stock out there. So logically, this is why I do say that $2 is going to be the low, because realistically, it shouldn't. It should not go below $2, despite a lot of people not really paying much attention to it. So retail investors typically overlook Polestar. Big money typically does. Shorts oddly overlook Polestar as well, and same goes for analysts. So I'm going to talk on shorts, at least what it is going to look like going into 2024. So right now, it does show NA for the free float being shorted. It's shown that for a while only because there's a glitch with Ortex, not really showing the correct outstanding share count. But if you do plug that in, the short interest is around 3%. So shorts aren't even on Polestar's radar, or vice versa. So Polestar's not on shorts radar. But 22.21 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 20.05%. So Polestar isn't going to be a squeeze play, but again, they're not really on shorts radar. And plus, same goes for analysts. There's only like a small handful of analysts really looking at Polestar. But 2024, regardless, should be fairly good operationally for Polestar. So in 2023, they originally forecasted 80,000 for their production targets. And they kind of did cut that several times. It kind of sucks. But 2024, I do feel that they are going to reiterate 80,000 because they're going to have their South Carolina facility up and running in 2024. And based on the last earnings, they did say that is their in to the States to avoid a lot of the tariffs. So that means on a cost price ratio, it'll be a lot more advantageous for Polestar. So I feel like that is going to be a very good thing. They do say as well, based on their last earnings, that the South Carolina facility is going to be a very big thing for Polestar because they'll be able to use that and ship it, not necessarily just around the States, but within North America, and in some cases back even to Europe. So when it comes down to Polestar, I think a lot of big things are going to be coming. I do feel in 2024, they're also going to be stepping up their game on their technology within their vehicles. So they might be getting a licensing agreement, possibly from even just throwing another name out there, Lucid. So I've already done many videos in the past on how potentially Polestar and Lucid are connected, or I guess indirectly connected. So potentially that could be something that Polestar could really stand to benefit through a licensing agreement, because they are willing to put up a lot of money. And they've kind of stated that the last earnings that they really want to step up their game, kind of improve the customer satisfaction, many other things like that. So again, that is going to make 2024 very, very interesting. And Polestar 3 coming down the pipeline, like there's so many good things for Polestar, and for their PS ratio to be 1.76, that is absolutely crazy. Looking at this on a side note, 72.29% is their implied fiscal 2024 forward revenue growth. So there's a lot of anticipation for 2024, and keep in mind during the last earnings they did say that 2025 is going to be their break even. So they're going to be profitable, I think, in the first half of 2025. Analysts are somewhat doubtful of that based on this, which does show all of the analyst estimates all the way up to Q4 2024. So they're not really anticipating Polestar to be anywhere profitable. Currently, there's 2 estimates for Q4 2024, and it does look like they're going to be losing about 15 cents for the earnings per share. So still not necessarily the best. Analysts are very optimistic about 2024 and their revenue. So that's something that they have stated in the last earnings, that the second half of 2024 is where they will really kick ass. I think a lot of companies always say that just the second half of whatever year is when they really start to ramp up. First half is when they try to cut costs, make their earnings per share, the balance sheet look good and whatever else. And then the second half is when they will ramp up. So currently there is 3 estimates with a consensus of $1.82 billion in revenue for Q4. So kind of good. Going over the highlights from the balance sheet from their last earnings, since I did bring that up. Cash equivalents and short-term investments, $951.09 million. Long-term investments, $2.23 million. And total debt, $2.97 million. Based on how much they are burning through from operations, which should improve in the greater part of 2024. On a side note, they will probably need to dilute, as crappy as that sounds, but they will probably need to dilute probably beginning of Q3 or tail end of Q2 of 2024. And that'll largely just be higher expenses as a result of their South Carolina facility. But then again, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. So ultimately, where do I see things going? So I do agree with a lot of the analysts that $2 is going to be the low. Anything below that just does not logically make sense because of what Polestar does offer, what they have on their balance sheet. It's too much of a discount given the current market. But going forward, I always like to look at a lot of the fib levels. So this does show a lot of the strong support and resistance points. So as it stands, $3.98 is a very strong resistance level. So for it to get above that, you need a lot of good buyers behind the scenes, behind Polestar to really propel it higher. In my opinion, I feel like Polestar is lagging that. So I don't know if it'll actually be able to get above this. So surprisingly enough, even though some analysts are anticipating a high of around $9 and a consensus of $4.67, I do logically feel that this around the $4 range, if not the high threes, is going to be the potential high for Polestar in 2024. But keep in mind, it is still anticipated for them to kick ass in 2025 and then being profitable. The actual implied fiscal 2025 forward revenue growth is 95.59% in 2025. So I think that is going to be the year that does take it to possibly a lot higher than that. So maybe even $8 or potentially even higher. But as far as 2024, I do feel that around $4 is going to be its cap, but I would hope that I am wrong. It goes to 10, 12, 15 or whatever else. It does suck to say that $4 might be its cap because looking at what has happened over the greater part of the last year, it has gone down a considerable amount, especially for those investors that did get in around this range. So early part of 2022, like you are stuck holding. In my opinion, it is a good company that's kicking ass production-wise, really acknowledging and it's self-aware of its negatives, such as this technology. Like when Polestar came out, that is one thing that I always said, is that it's good at producing vehicles, its technology is crap. So that's one thing that they have improved quite significantly on. So let me know your thoughts on Polestar in 2024. What do you think is going to be the high? What do you think is going to be the low? And is there any other catalyst coming out that you feel is going to benefit Polestar? Or do you think that there's going to be larger headwinds that is going to deter Polestar from getting anywhere close to that $4 mark? Like, what's your viewpoint on all of that? Again, if it does break that $2 psychological support, things could get kind of scary. But in my opinion, if you are investing in the long term, this is where, if you look at the true numbers, the metrics, like, it does make sense that Polestar is a good buy. You can even see the comparison based on the market cap, the enterprise value. Like, this Polestar is the real deal. Obviously, can't really compare it logically to Tesla, especially at this stage. But Polestar is one of the only two pure global EV plays. So Tesla and Polestar. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that said, hopefully everyone had an amazing 2023 and an even better 2024. But with all that, I appreciate all of you watching.